Six Nations 2025, England and France, and it is England, folks. 26-25, last minute try in what was a proper helter-skelter second half. Unexpected win in terms of many quarters writing England off for this one, but no, they show some grit and determination to keep fighting even after it seemed like they had won it, only for France to win it back, and then England won it again. Crazy game, low-scoring first half. Frenetic second half, but England maybe quiet a few of the doubters, and France, I think, will rue a few missed mistakes, particularly in the first half. But we'll go through some key events and some stats. You guys can let us know your thoughts. But yeah, what a proper thrilling match. The first half, I mean, even from the get-go, you had obviously quite a few travelling French fans because you had crowd battles of people singing "Allez le Bleu" and people singing, chanting, and "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot." It was proper atmosphere stuff from the crowd early on. They were going toe-to-toe in terms of the players. England got the first advantage when they got a scrum penalty, but then Slade kind of missed touch, which was a little bit of a ominous start. You really want to, if you're England and under a lot of pressure, as I said, kind of being written off, you want to be clinical early, but as Maro kind of said in his little on-field post-match interview, how good could they be if they got some more accuracy? That was a little bit of inaccuracy early. France were looking dangerous, but England's line speed was able to kind of keep them, I don't want to say under control, but at least keep them from scoring points. Like Curry, it was Tom who was the starting Curry. He managed to win a nice, he forced a nice kind of defensive play, which forced a knock-on from the French. So good from England to keep the French attack, which can be pretty slick, scoreless early. England, though, did concede an offside penalty on 11 minutes, which was a bit soft. But then Ramos, more or less straight out in front, missed the shot at the first three, which in the context of this game, pretty costly. But, I mean, both sides did miss shots at goal, to be fair. But, yeah, that one was for Ramos. Like, he first tried the French get. He bloody nails one from the sideline, but straight out in front, no, he doesn't want that one. France continue to have all the ball. England continue to defend, but they defend well, man. Curry wins a turnover. France get their closest chance on 20 minutes where they kind of go coast to coast, wanting to play quickly. But then the final pass from, I think it was Ramos to Dupont. Dupont normally kind of one-handed snaffles it and goes over for a try. Just can't quite take it, so a missed penalty chance, potentially missed try chance. So we got some similar stuff from last week in terms of France. Their accuracy against Wales, even though they scored 43 points, still left a little bit to be desired. They knocked on a lot of ball. That was continuing on. And England proved to be very good at the breakdown once again. It's one thing they showed against Ireland last week. So those two trends were continuing. Finally, though, France did get the first try of the game. Bielle-Biarrey managed to get another one. He's on a proper try-scoring run. This one was a little bit scrappy, like a little bit of a loose pass from Malvaca out the back to nobody, but Dupont, the general, has got the kind of presence of mind to spin it wide. They get it to Penaud, who puts it through to his club teammate Bielle-Biarrey with a grubber kick, and he's got the gas together, so 7 points to nil. How many times have you seen Bielle-Biarrey score from chasing a kick? That is his specialty. But yeah, 7 points to nil. To be fair, England responded well, and it was a trend throughout the game. Often when France scored points, England would respond well. They were starting to look slick. Slade had a big carry. Freeman got himself into some space. And then Mitchell put a little grubber kick through, kind of trying to do what France had just done. But of all people, Jean-Baptiste, the big prop, was the guy sweeping back for France to force it down. So, yeah, missed chance for England, I guess. But good to see them actually get some attack going, because in the first half it had largely been France. And then England managed to get the equaliser before half-time. It was about 7 phases. Again, it's a little bit ugly. There was a bobbled ball, but the TMO ruled that there's everything's backwards. Lawrence gives a big fend on Ramos, and it's 7 points apiece. That's the way the first half finishes score-wise. It's been more about the defensive sets. France have made a few errors, but as I said, England's line speed and their breakdown work has been good. England's line-out struggled a bit throughout this game, but yeah, I think it's been a pretty good half, despite the kind of low score. France have had more ball, 55%. They've had more territory, 58%. More run meters, 308 to 201. So it's been dangerous from France, but they've also had 8 knock-ons to 4. So they have been a little bit guilty of dropping some ball. And, that would kind of continue on in the second half. Second half, France got an attack and scrum. Ended up getting turned over. But then Bielle-Biarrey had a line break. And then he got from a turnover ball when England had the ball. And then France, from that Bielle-Biarrey line break, just couldn't find the final pass once again. It was kind of story of the first half again. But then England lost the line out again. France knocked on again. So it seemed like it was going to be kind of a repeat of the first half in the second, but it was not. I mean, the first points of the second half did come through Ramos getting a penalty, which made it 10-7. But then from the restart, France were under pressure. Giroud got them out of trouble because he'd just come on and won a penalty at the breakdown to kind of get France out of trouble. But it was an interesting trend that the restarts, England got some good pay there throughout the game. Despite the disjointed attack, France did manage to win a penalty at the scrum, which made it 13-7 when Ramos slotted that one. So it's starting to look kind of relatively comfortable-ish. But then again, France mucked the restart. And Freeman, he's the guy who scores the try, but he's also the man who starts it because he's the one contesting that restart, jumping high in the air. As France don't take it, he gathers the ball, gives England the attacking bit of territory and possession, opportunity. And Finn Smith, who was pulling the strings really well, particularly in the second half, he ends up getting man of the match, I think, largely on that second half performance. Dink over the top. Freeman beats Bielle-Biarrey in the air for that ball. It is try time. It's a misconversion, so France is still in front, but only by a point. 13 points to 12. And then the game, I think that's the click where this game just kind of goes nuts. France finally clicked. You get a bunch of phases. You get Jalibert up the guts. You got Giroud having a big carry. They shift it from left to right. Dupont finds Penaud, who finds Bielle-Biarrey, who finds Penaud. That's try time. 18-12. Misconversion. Again, in the context of this game, a lot of missed kicks. But 18-12, the lead's a little bit more comfortable for France. But then England's attack starts to look a bit sharper. I mean, bloody Finn Smith puts Jamie George, of all people, into a bit of space. Then one of the Curries has a kind of nice carry on the support line. So they are starting to look dangerous. But then when England opt for a 3, they missed the penalty. Marcus Smith was the one who tried to kick that one, but it wasn't his best strike ever. But that didn't matter because England won a penalty at the scrum. This time they opted for touch, maybe on the back of missing that last penalty. And you feel like you probably better score here. Time is running out. You're behind. And they did it. Finn Baxter gets his first test try. So congratulations to him. It was a close range one, which it should be as a prop. They got the conversion to make it 19 points to 18 after the kind of Maul had gone close. They'd gone through a few phases and Baxter just burrowed over. He got past Marchand in that carry. So 19-18, proper game on. Can France hit back to win this one in the final 10 minutes? Well, you bet they can. They go wide ball to Penaud. They put a kick through, which England don't gather, which they will look back on in the review with a bit of frustration, but that gave France the opportunity. They almost bloody missed it when I think Penaud had supporting guys outside him, but he chose to cut back inside. Gets tackled, but France still kind of scrappily managed to shift it wide to Bielle-Biarrey, who goes over. So 25-19, it looks like France have probably done enough, unless England can come back. But come back they do. England win another penalty. They go for touch. They go for the maul. The maul gets stopped, but they shift it through the hands. Lawrence to Finn Smith to Daly. 2 points down with the conversion to come. No, 1 point down, conversion to come. But it's a very kickable one, more or less straight in front. And, Finn Smith slots it 26-25. England, unlike France, are able to handle the restart, kick the ball off the field, and secure themselves a famous victory. So, talk about determination to come back after being seemingly dead and buried a few times in this game. England, run meters are still in France's favour if we look at the stats. 606 to 476. Clean breaks, though, 8-9, so not that much in it. England only the one behind. Defenders beaten, though, 30-24. So England busted more tackles. France's tackling percentage in this game comes out really poor, 78%. I always use the kind of term that even Super Rugby teams get above 80%, and that's a competition which gets looked down upon for kind of being no defence style rugby. Well, 78%, that's below the average Super Rugby team, so that is poor from France. England were 84%, which is not phenomenal, but it's certainly respectable. Anytime you're around 85 is certainly solid. It's when you get into the 90s that you get into kind of very, very exceptional status, but 84 is definitely solid and a lot better than France's 78. The kicks from hand, England had a fair few more, 46-37, but that is a fair bit of kicking. Maybe not as much as we saw in the Wales-Italy game, but it was a bit of kicking. And the turnovers won 6-3 in England's favour. The line-up didn't go well, but the breakdown work continues to be impressive. Penalty count was pretty low in the scheme of things, 6-8. So England conceding 2 fewer than France. But yeah, both sides kind of below the magic 10 number, so they'll be, I guess, relatively happy with the discipline, if nothing else. Marcus Smith had 131 metres, a clean break, 2 defenders beaten and 1 at the back. Maybe justifies his selection, because he was certainly looking sharp. And Finn Smith, as I said, man of the match, sets up a couple of tries. Pulled the strings really well, as I said, particularly in the second half. Looked very, very comfortable. And, yeah, Tom Willis had 16 from 16 tackles. Not a bad defensive outing from him. Tom Curry, as I said, everywhere with the breakdown. Bielle-Biarrey managed to get himself 2 tries and an assist. So he's also involved in a bit of everything for France, but not enough for the win. 80-plus run meters, 4 defenders beaten. Kos had 13 out of 15 tackles, but ultimately, you feel like the turnovers conceded, 19 of them to England's 11, which part of there's just like dropping it cold, but part of that is England's defensive shift. That's the big one for France. It's a couple of weeks in a row where they've just not been quite clinical enough with the ball in hand. France, in a couple of weeks, when we get back underway, will be away to Italy, and England will be at home to Scotland. I don't know which commentary you guys had, but I had the international commentary, which was, I think, Royal Nugent and Dewi Morris. Dewi Morris was absolutely screaming his head off, yes, when that final try went through, which is not something you usually hear on the kind of neutral comms, but he was certainly enjoying it. But what a crazy game. I'm sure you guys enjoyed that too. If you're an England rugby fan and want to get some gear to celebrate, this channel just happens to be affiliated with England Rugby Store. So if you want to check it out, I'm sure they got a sale on. Check out the link down in the description to England Rugby Store. But yeah, you guys take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.